can start talking. Yep. All right, what we're doing today is we are replacing the winch line on my Polaris four-wheeler. It has the old wire line and I broke it, so we're going to put a new synthetic line on it today. Replace the fair lead and all that fun stuff. It has a worn winch on it right now. First off, we got to remove the roller fair lead. To remove that, you need 14mm socket and wrench. It takes a little bit. You need an extension, smaller socket first, so it can reach in there hopefully. Looks like we need a stubby wrench to get in there. Once you break it free, you can hold it, the nut, with your finger and it can spin it right out of there. There's nothing really wrong with this roller fair lead, but the new winch line comes with one. So we should probably stop it now because that's coming through. Alright, once you get the roller fair lead off, then we have to find the wire where it's broken. I actually broke it plowing the other day, so we'll put the winch into free spool and try and find it. And my helper Vera running around here. You probably need needle nose pliers so you don't cut your fingers on it if you can see it. See, it's coming out with little pieces of metal. You need to be careful. I can see the end of it in there. I just can't really grab it. See, it's right there.
Can we pull that one?
Ah, there we go. Found it. I'm wearing gloves, but
What is that?
I'll use my cuffs. And basically, you just gotta unwind all the wire. You really don't want to get cut by the wire. Alright, we've unwound all the wire. Okay, once you come to the end of the wire, you need to spin it around so you can see this little piece right here. I don't know if you can see it or not. You see it right in there. All you have to do is stick your screwdriver in there and pry that out. It'll release the wire. Now it has a little keeper, or a key, I guess you would call it, in there. It's a little piece of metal. See if I can grab it. That's all it is. It's right there. That just loops around and basically makes the wire too big to fit back out the hole. And now you just have to basically move it around, see if it'll loosen up for you. Back and forth. And there, see, you just pull it right out. Sometimes you gotta monkey with them. Be careful, this end will be sharp. And then you can just pull it right out, just like that. Okay, this is our new Badlands. You just get them right at Harbor Freight. They're like 35 bucks. And it comes with a new fair lead. Comes with instructions. A new hook and everything. Alright, we have our new synthetic line out here. We just have to cut the line off of it with a keeper. Make sure you don't cut the rope. Find the end of it, which is right here. This one they seem to have tied it around everything, which is always good. And basically you're just going to feed it right back in that same hole and loop it around and use that little metal piece I showed you earlier as a stopper again. So you want to wrap the barrel around, I guess you would call it, till you find the hole to feed it into. In this case, it is the little narrow hole. I don't know if you can see it down in there. You feed that into that. Might take a little persuading. Until it comes out the other side where you make your loop. I ended up squishing it because it was a little round with some pliers to make it push through there. As you see now, I've got it into the hole. Now I just have to spin the drum around. And you can see that it's come out the other side, right there. Basically, you're just gonna make a loop, stick it back in there to hold itself. Grab your pliers, feed that back through. So now you've got both sides through the drum. You find your little piece, or in some cases you might not even need it because it might be big enough on its own that it won't come through. Basically, you just shove it right back up in there. So it's just too fat to make it all the way back through. Sometimes if you don't want it shucking back and forth, you can lock the drum so it'll help you out. But you just basically make the loop back in there. Make sure your winch is disconnected for all this too. You don't want to somehow turn it on. Alright, I made the loop. It can't feed back into itself. You can see it's jammed right there. So now it's just going to be winding it up. Double check that it's tight. And now you just have to wind it up. This one actually came with a pretty long guard on it. It looks like a couple different sections of the guard. So I will enlist the help of someone and I'll be right back. Alright, basically you just have to feed it in. Keep slight tension on it. Stop. Alright, so we are coming to the end. Alright, go slow. This is the protection stop. The protection on this one isn't going to fit because the spool is pretty much used up there. So actually I have a little too much wire on this. Okay, I ended up having to rewind this. I didn't have it tight enough the first go around. So now I have it going through the top, so I basically have to feed it down through. So you can just disconnect the hook here. It has just a little keeper. You can undo that and then feed it down through, depending on what you want for it. Some of them don't use the hooks anymore. They use like a drum. We just take the pin out. And you can feed it down through and it can come out correctly, just like that. Now the fair lead actually will fit right in the same holes that the Warren winch had. So you just reuse the same bolts. So in that way it makes it really kind of nice. They are just 14 millimeter. Just basic, they have the nylon lock washers or lock nuts. And it bolts right in there like nothing. For this one, they are just 14 millimeter. I needed to use a short wrench just so it fit in there. The lock nuts can be kind of a pain in the butt. As anyone knows who's ever used lock nuts, or the nylon nuts, or whatever you want to call them. Basically, you just tighten it right in there. Maybe. Or it all just falls apart. Make sure I have the right nuts because I took a bunch of stuff apart. Make sure you have your wire pushed into your fairly, just makes it easier. And then it's just a matter of hooking them back together. Sometimes it's easier with two people, or if you have little hands. If you can get it started, you're sitting pretty. And I think that's pretty not started right now. Okay, so it took me a little bit, but I finally got it on there. My carrier for the winch is a little beat up. My four-wheeler is a 2003, so it's kind of been through the ringer. But it does line up pretty nice. Goes right in there, and then you just reattach the hook right back where it belongs, and it's all done. It's pretty easy. It only took me like 20 minutes. Hardest part about the whole thing was getting these two bolts back in there. Hope that's helpful.
Help her out.
Here, stop the camera for a minute, I guess. We can edit all this crap out of it, right?
Yeah.